Welcome to McDonald's. What would you like? I would like a Cinnabon, 2 bacon, egg, and cheese McGriddles, and an orange juice. That would be total $15.69. Oh hi there, it's time for the 8th episode of Brian Wildcat's Wrestling Stars of the 2000s. It's all about the game, and how you play it. I am going to talk about the Cerebral Assassin, the game, and the King of Kings, Triple H 1997 King of the Ring, 2-time Royal Rumble winner, 2-time European Champion, 4-time Intercontinental Champion, and a 14-time WWE World Champion, and running NXT. Let's talk about Triple H during the 2000s. As he left off the 90s, in the middle of the Attitude Era, Triple H is one of the biggest heels of the company. He took Mr. McMahon's daughter and starts a relationship with her, and starts a new year, a new decade, a new millennium, and a new century when he started 2000 to capture his 3rd World Wrestling Federation Championship against The Big Show on the first Raw of 2000. It was a perfect way to start a new year and a new millennium for the game. Mankind is reinstated in the World Wrestling Federation roster and challenges Triple H in a street fight for the WWF Championship at Royal Rumble. Mankind says, "Not only Mankind is going to face you at the Royal Rumble in Madison Square Garden," which make Triple H smile, and then Mankind said the greatest line. "I think the WWF fans deserves a substitute, and I think you know the guy, and his name is Cactus Jack." And Triple H looked like he saw a ghost. Mankind became Cactus Jack. Bang bang. At Royal Rumble, Triple H and Cactus Jack put on one of the most violent matches in WWE history. One of the most violent WWE title matches of all time. Trash cans. Jack runs his knee onto Helmsley into the stairs. Mick suplex Hunter on the wood, which splits Helmsley's leg open with wood. Helmsley back suplex Jack on the trash can, using the barbed wire 2x4, so as Cactus Jack. Cactus Jack runs into a chair shot. Mick Foley tries to go for the piledriver on the announce table, but was countered into a backdrop. Helmsley hip tossed Jack onto the steel steps, and then throws him into the steps, handcuffs him to remake the previous year's Royal Rumble, and gives him vicious chair shots. And The Rock gets involved and gives Hunter a chair shot. Cactus Jack comebacks. He piledrives Hunter on the announce table, brought out thumbtacks, and Triple H slams Cactus on the tacks. Pedigree, 1, 2. What? Nobody has ever kicked out of the pedigree before, but Cactus Jack. Triple H hits the second pedigree of the night, this time on the thumbtacks. 1, 2, 3. Triple H wins and retains the WWF Championship. This is the night Triple H became the Cerebral Assassin. This is the night the Cerebral Assassin destroyed the career of the hardcore legend. That Hell in a Cell match was a war, and 2 men defined the Attitude Era and made 2000 one of the best years of the entire decade. It's King of the Ring 98 and Royal Rumble 2000 all over again combined for Mick Foley. It was a physical fight and was a human bloodbath. Cactus Jack throws Helmsley into the cell wall and piledrives him on the announce table, used the barbed wire 2x4. Hunter climbs the cage, so as Foley, but Triple H stomps his hand on the top of the cell and sends flying onto the announce table. As Foley climbs back to the top, Triple H uses the barbed wire 2x4, Mick with a snap suplex, the double-arm DDT, set the barbed wire 2x4 on fire, and was about to hit the piledriver on Helmsley on the fire, but Triple H backdrops Foley through the cell and through the ring, punishes Foley some more and hits the pedigree to retain his championship, ending the career of Mick Foley, better known as Cactus Jack. WrestleMania 2000 was supposed to be The Rock's coronation of the crowning of a new WWF champion, but no, Triple H has to be the first heel to retain the WWE Championship in the main event of WrestleMania. Even though Hunter is the first WWE superstar to retain the WWE Championship in the main event of Mania as a heel, The Rock challenges Triple H in a rematch for the WWF title with Shane McMahon as the guest referee, and Triple H is in Mr. McMahon's corner and The Rock in Stone Cold Steve Austin's corner. This is the match that should have took place at WrestleMania tour. This really annoys me in 2008 and 2009. Now, that makes three. Three of the greatest rivalries in WWE history did not end up in a one-on-one WrestleMania match. But nonetheless, the highlight is when Patterson, Briscoe, and Triple H attacking The Rock. And you'll hear one of the loudest pops in WWE history when Austin's glass shattered. Stone Cold laid out Triple H, Pat Patterson, Gerald Briscoe, Shane McMahon, and Mr. McMahon with the steel chair to help The Rock win his fourth WWF Championship. Welcome to part 2 of This Is the Match That Should Have Took Place at WrestleMania Tour. Since their Backlash encounter, Rock and Triple H would meet once again for the WWF Championship, with Shawn Michaels as the special guest referee in a 60-minute Iron Man match. Triple H and The Rock made 2000 WWE's best year of the Attitude Era. In their Iron Man match, there's mostly wrestling in the ring, brawling in and outside the ring, brawling at the stage, brawling at the ramp. Rock and Helmsley fought and stole the show in 60 minutes to see who gets the most points. Triple H gives Rock the chair shot to get himself disqualified. That earns The Rock 3 points. The Rock stole Triple H's pedigree on the announce table. Shane, Vince, and DX got involved, and The Undertaker returns and debuts his American Badass gimmick. At the end of the match, The Undertaker tombstones Triple H, and Shawn Michaels calls for the bell, and didn't realize that the time was expired. So he awards Triple H his fourth WWF Championship via disqualification. 2000 is Triple H's year. He had brutal matches with Mick Foley and The Rock. He won the WWE Championship from The Big Show to start the year. He retained the WWE Championship at WrestleMania in the main event as a heel. He had a great last man standing match with Chris Jericho at Fully Loaded. He has the most beautiful wife in Stephanie McMahon, etc. Triple H would resume with his heated feud with the returning Stone Cold Steve Austin from a year prior. At the beginning of 2001, Stone Cold was about to take the World Wrestling Federation Championship off of Kurt Angle, but Triple H out of nowhere cost Austin the belt, took out the referee, Jim Ross going insane on commentary, two men brawled, and Triple H laid out Austin with a pipe. Even though Austin wins his third Royal Rumble in 2001, this teased their match at No Way Out. This is the most brutal and physical fight these two men have, in a 3 stages of hell match. Stage 1 is a straight-up, big fight field, wrestling match. Stage 2 is a big fight field, street fight. Stage 3 is a match that would take place in a 15-foot high steel cage. It wasn't just a fight, it was a war. It was a human bloodbath. Wrestling in the ring, steel chairs, beer cans, steel steps, TV monitors, sledgehammers, barbed wires, etc. Two men really defined the Attitude Era. 2000 and 2001 were awesome years for the World Wrestling Federation. After that match, Steve Austin would turn heel at WrestleMania 17 to take the WWF title against The Rock, since his match with Stone Cold Steve Austin at No Way Out. Two men would join forces to form the two-men power trip, and the faction didn't last that long because Triple H torn his quad during a tag team with Austin against Chris Jericho and Chris Benoit. Triple H was out of action for 8 months due to a quad injury, and he went surgery in the hospital in Birmingham, Alabama. Triple H fought through the pain, he worked out, he made himself look jacked and waited 8 months until he made his return at the beginning of 2002. People in Madison Square Garden all jumping for joy and all hyped when the Cerebral Assassin returned on January 7, 2002, and declared himself in the 2002 Royal Rumble match. I am the game, and you can bet your ass I'm back. The Cerebral Assassin's return leads him to win the 2002 Royal Rumble match, to meet the WWF Undisputed Champion at WrestleMania 18. This one has to be one of my favorite Royal Rumble matches of all time, with returns and shocking moments like these. Let's see what Triple H has to say about winning the 2002 Royal Rumble match on 411 MANIA, and I quote, "It was great. You know, it's hard to put into words the journey that I was on at this point in time, because there was a high probability that I would never wrestle again with the injury that I had, and they kind of let me know that. So, coming back, having the return that I did and having the opportunity to do that at Madison Square Garden, and the reaction and everything was incredible. But then, What do you do with that and how do you capitalize on that? And that was the challenge. So, to come at the Royal Rumble, which one of the biggest PPV events of the year, and Rumble has changed over the years, but always has been since its inception been toward the road to WrestleMania. The winner getting a title shot, that whole thing. So, it was a massive moment, but really sort of that moment of the Rumble all the way through to WrestleMania was kind of like the validation of, yes, I returned, but I can still do this, and can I do it where I was doing it before? So, that aspect of it, these moments being in the ring, there's just so much meaning there, just not only from a performer's standpoint, just from an athlete's standpoint of the validation of being able to do this still. Triple H proposes to Stephanie McMahon to renew their wedding vows. He said a savage line. I see what you truly are, a no-good lying bitch. He divorces her and destroys his own wedding and pedigrees Vince, leaving Stephanie in rage, making her life a living hell. Chris Jericho was disappointed and furious that he thinks that Rock vs. Hogan should close the show. His main event of WrestleMania was disappointing. But nonetheless, Triple H won the undisputed world champion in the last main event of WrestleMania under the name of the World Wrestling Federation. Triple H resumes his feud with Chris Jericho after losing the undisputed championship to Hollywood Hulk Hogan at Backlash. On an episode on SmackDown, Chris Jericho and the heel WWE superstars from the SmackDown locker room brutally attacked and destroyed Triple H, and Vince McMahon announces that Triple H will face Chris Jericho inside Hell, in a Cell, at Judgment Day. At Judgment Day, Triple H and Chris Jericho had one of the most underrated Hell in a Cell matches in WWE history. And I still believe it was one of the best Hell in a Cell matches in history. Ladders getting involved, steel chairs, steel stairs, poor Tim White getting abused and destroyed, sledgehammers, fighting in the ring, fighting out the ring, fighting in the cell, fighting outside the cell, a barbed wire 2x4 getting involved, and fighting on top of the cell. How could you not love this masterpiece? In the end, Triple H hits the pedigree to Chris Jericho on top of the cell to put this feud to sleep. Triple H was traded to Raw and reunited with his best friend, Shawn Michaels. He even tried to bring the DX band together, psych. Triple H swerved us all and betrays his best friend. Shawn Michaels found out Triple H ambushed him at the parking lot and left bloodied and unconscious, and challenged him for an unsanctioned match at SummerSlam to begin this ruthless aggression rivalry. At SummerSlam, Triple H is destroying Shawn Michaels and tried to end his career and ruin his return. However, HBK fought back. These two men, two best friends and bitter enemies, went toward an unsanctioned match. Steel chairs and ladders getting involved. Blood flowed like Niagara Falls. In the end, Shawn Michaels gets the victory over Triple H. The celebration would cut short when Triple H pummels his best friend with his sledgehammer and ended his career and stood tall. Jim Ross on commentary would call that moment, "Don't you have no heart? Don't you have no soul? You son of a bitch, you realized what you just done. I hope you go to rotten hell for that." I miss those wrestling days. This is part 1 of Triple H during the 2000s. Thanks for watching, stay tuned and I'll see you in the next video.